Okay, need to spend just a couple minutes just on twins. I realize I do this when I'm talking to a traditional classroom too. I get stuck and I forget that I need to point out twins, while they're commonplace, and I'm probably even talking to at least one person who's a twin. Twins have always fascinated humans, back to ancient culture. And the reason, of course, that twins are fascinating is because, quite simply, on the most fundamental level, twins complicate our notion of a self. How can there be two of the same thing? Ancient cultures were very bothered by twins for that reason, because it created this cognitive dissonance. The dissonance is not dissimilar to what we get, for example, when we look at a mirror sometimes and we see a mirrored image of ourselves, and that's unsettling. Is that us, we say? Or when we hear ourselves recorded in a digital age, we're getting more used to hearing our voices. But when we hear the sound of our own voice, we also feel a bit of a disassociation from ourselves. Is that me talking, or is that another version of me? So when Shakespeare brings the two sets of twins into the play, and again from his sources in Plautus, there was only one pair of twins. He doubles down on that. He likes the idea so much. He has not just the set of twins of the Antipholus, but the slave twins, Dromios, as well. He's pointing not just to fun and slapstick and misrecognition on the stage, but something much more important. Let me read a bit more from Paul again. This Paul, I'm sure you've heard at some point because it's read at every nominally Christian wedding. This is Paul 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. But when there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, and that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass, darkly. But then, when the second coming comes, face to face, then we'll see face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know even as I am also known. And now abateth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. Most of you know this passage with charity translated as love. The Latin term caritas means perfect love, to love like God. But this King James Bible version is closer to what Shakespeare would have known. And what Paul is talking about here in this famous passage is that Christ has come, Christ has died, we're living in Messianic time, but the second coming, the parousia, is not yet here. So in the meantime, we are not quite seeing each other as one. We are not quite seeing ourselves as they are. We are seeing through things darkly. We're like looking in a dark glass or mirror, catching glimpses and intimations of ourselves as one, but not fully getting it. And we won't get it until the second coming. And it's that sort of thought, I think, that Shakespeare is after in many of his plays, including the Comedy of Errors, and that he's after with the twins. When we see the twins looking at each other, trying to recognize each other, they're kind of come to terms with who they are, with what it means to live within yourself or beside yourself. But in this messianic time we live in, before the second coming, Shakespeare points out, we don't see clearly, we only see through a glass darkly, as if we're looking in a mirror or looking at a twin version of ourselves.